No, I don't. I think one of the big handicaps of the new media world, giant quote marks around new media, and the web series world is that all of the measurements of success are emulating what television and what film does. That it's spike mentality, that it's, you know, a television show goes out, and if it's not successful in week one, it's probably over, maybe 2 weeks, because it costs more money to make that show than the ad revenue that's coming in. So they're losing money. So rightfully so, they have spike mentality. They need that thing to be successful fast. And if it's not, they have to cancel it. They don't have time for an audience to build. Now what all the web series people and the new media people and a lot of independent filmmakers, pretty much everybody who tells any kind of story online, whatever story that is, all have this: I'm not successful because only 200 people watched this. I'm not successful because, you know, my blog isn't huge. I'm not successful. None of my stuff's gone viral. How many people have watched it? Is that how you measure success? Because I know for a fact, Jon Favreau just did an interview, and he said that Harrison Ford thought that, and I guess apparently thinks that Blade Runner was not a successful movie. And he couldn't believe that he thought that. And apparently somewhere along the line, somebody told him, based on it not hitting a certain number or whatever, that it wasn't successful. So the guy, and he's wrong, but he's the guy in the movie. So we're all being told at all levels what success, how fast you need to be successful, and we're not taking advantage of, this is the matrix. We don't need to spike, because we're only individuals or small groups of individuals. A publicly traded, multi-billion-dollar corporation that has millions of dollars behind marketing a television show or a movie fails all the time. Every weekend they fail. We all talk about the box office like it's some measurement of success. If the shitty movie is #1 at the box office, it's still a shitty movie that a lot of people are going to see. And Hollywood will make more because it made money. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. So when you make a story online, what I first thought was, like everybody, like why aren't a lot of people watching my show? Like, it's a TV show. Like, there was billboards, and like, what is the whole world just going to suddenly share your show? Because everybody's making web series now. It's like CB radio. It's just another craze. It's a little, you know, and instead of recognizing, okay, who are you telling stories to? Individuals. How do you talk to individuals? Like you would talk to fucking anybody else. Like about your day, the weather, that's who's watching your shows. It's not, audiences don't talk in demographics. I think the way that I measure success now is the number of people who have told me that the story that we made affected their life, gave them a laugh when they needed it, when they were going through a bad time. The people who continue to find the story. Now we're, at this point, 15 months out of when we put out the last episode. No one cares. And the thing, where you can prove how the major corporations don't see the Matrix because of spike mentality is Family Guy. Family Guy was canceled because it had low ratings. 3 years of DVD sales, Fox was like, wow, there's a lot of people buying DVD. We should bring this back. So they did. Arrested Development, canceled 7 years ago, again by Fox, with Emmy Awards. They won, canceled, no audience is watching, Emmy, not streaming, Emmy. 7 years, gone. Netflix washes people online watching that show on there, and so that audience built, and so they're sitting back on, we should bring this back, and they did. Because no corporation can see, they can't take the loss. They can't keep going to their investors and going to the books and looking at every quarter and just watching the money that they're losing over and over, waiting for a show that they know is good, just needs time to build. No one's going to give it that kind of time because it's not fast enough. That spike mentality. So the people that continue to find Vampire Mob and like what I do, those people maybe will like the next thing I do and the other stories I tell. and then I can come back and tell more Vampire Mob and tell other stories and keep, and the audience is not going to fire me. Companies fire you. Audiences don't fire you. Please. Honestly, it really depends. If you're trying to impress sponsors, if you're trying to impress a corporation, a TV producer, blah, 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 all those people, they think in spike mentality, they think in numbers. Here's the other thing that no one seems to realize. For the independent storyteller, there is no way for Netflix, any TV network, or any cable network to tell a story worldwide. It's impossible because you have to license it country by country. There's different systems, the BBC, there's TV in Norway, all those, it's all block by block by block. You put it up on YouTube, it's worldwide. For anybody who has internet access, it's worldwide. So we have our second biggest audience is in the United Kingdom. You know, so Los Angeles doesn't give a fuck about what I do. The audience gives a fuck about what I do. They don't live in Los Angeles. They live all over the world. I did an interview in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago. Like, the audience keeps finding the show, and it's worldwide. So I'm just one guy telling one tiny little story for a long fucking time. And just like a band that doesn't get airplay, it's like doing the road and playing 50 people, 75 people, 100 people. And you just keep going, and you stay after the show, and you say hello to everybody, and that's Twitter. That's Twitter. That's the book tour. That's the speaking tour. That's the when you go and you do the Q&A after your screening. That's Twitter all the time. And you can't answer questions all the time. At some point you got to go, hey, how are you? What's going on? What's Easter like in Switzerland or the UK or whatever? And it's also, that's really interesting. I don't know what Easter's like in Switzerland or anything else. So I think that's part of it is knowing that if you can be an independent storyteller and keep going for years, and that's the thing is no one can see years. You've got to look at it in years, and if you don't have the stamina, if you need that spike, if you need that award, if you need that validation, and you can't take the slow grinding monotony of audience building, handshake by handshake, then don't go this route. Play spike mentality, try to get a lot of views, try to get a company that's going to give you money, fuck up your story, fire you, own your story, continue telling it without you. If that sounds good, go for it. But I'm looking at what I'm going to be doing when I'm 50, 60, 70, and I know that the entertainment industry has no use for those ages. The audience doesn't give a fuck. So I'm going to tell stories to an audience that won't fire me for the rest of my life, and they're going to be small and they're going to keep growing, but I'm not going to spike, get hired by a company and get fired and then be miserable. I'd rather be happy, small, keep going. I'm in control. I have final cut. I don't have somebody telling me I want this actor in your show or that actor in your show when I can't say I don't really like them. Guess what? I don't care. I pay the fucking bills. So you're going to do exactly what I say because I paid the bill. Oh, right. Weren't we all fighting for independent freedom to do whatever we wanted, tell the stories we wanted? Why are we fucking it up by emulating spike mentality and box office and TV ratings and Nielsen? So Nielsen is it's your heart, it's your gut, it's your brain, and you got to learn how to trust it, and it feels crazy and will for a long time. And maybe always. It's uncomfortable because you're not getting the validation that you can say to mom and dad, look, I got an award. Here's me on a step and repeat banner with somebody asking me questions who's from another web series, who's on YouTube. That's what I mean. It's like, let's just calm down and go, look, we're all little bands. We're just playing little shows in little venues. Isn't it great that we get to do this?